Hello there, you beautiful people. Now, in this lecture, you're going to receive magical powers. For real. No joke. You're going to get magical powers, and you're going to get them by learning how to use the while loop. Let's go. Okay, so what the heck is a while loop? Well, a while loop is a type of loop that will repeat some code over and over and over again while some condition is true. So let me show you. The way that a while loop is structured is you have the word while in lowercase, you have some condition, a colon, and then inside there, some code. Okay? Now, while this condition is true, this code is going to run over and over and over and over and over again. Okay? So if I just type the word true in here, just like when we use if statements, that's going to satisfy the condition. And let me just print hello. Okay, now when I run this, whoa, right? I mean, the computer is just continually running hello, and it's going to run and run and run and run because the condition, if I can actually even get to the top, the condition at the top here is true. So as another example, if I write while 2 is greater than 1, print hello, we're going to see that that runs as well for over and over and over again. And why is that? Well, because, if I can actually even get to the top, man, this is a hassle. Okay, so the reason is because we have a condition, and that condition is true, because 2 is greater than 1. So that's going to give back true, and since the condition is true, the code inside will run over and over and over until this becomes false. And since that's never going to become false, it runs forever. Now, if I come down the bottom again, and I type while false, and I try and print hello, we're going to see that nothing happens because the condition is false. So a while loop will run over and over and over again while their condition is true. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and create a script to show you how we can use this in practice. So let's make a new file in here, and I'm just going to save this on the desktop, Python Bible, as while.py. Okay, now all that's well and good, but why are while loops useful? Well, let me show you. Let's say if I wanted to print out the numbers from 1 to 10. How can we do that knowing all that we know so far? Well, one way I could do it is I could just write 10 lines of code, right? I could just print 1, print 2, print 3, and I could maybe copy and paste this. If I'm particularly advanced, I could print 4, print 5, print 6, keep going. Oops. Print 7, print 8, print 9, and print 10. Then when I save and run that, we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? And that worked absolutely fine. But just look at how repetitive that code is. Surely there must be a way that we can automate it. Can you see the way that pretty much most of it stays the same? There's just something that changes. One thing changes, and it changes in a very repeatable fashion. Now, when you start seeing something like that, when you start seeing that kind of pattern, where one thing changes or a few things change in a very repeatable pattern, your brain should start screaming to you that you need to use a loop. So let's make a loop. In this case, a while loop. Now, the easiest way to explain this to you is just to show you the code and then explain it afterwards. So here it goes. I'm going to delete all of that, because you know what all that does, and I'm going to make a variable called number, and while number is less than or equal to 10, print number, and number equals number plus 1. Now, when I save and run that, you can see we get exactly the same result. So let's just take a step back and see what happened with the code. We started with a variable called number. Okay, we've got a box with the number 1 in it. Now, our while loop is going to repeatedly check whether that number is less than or equal to 10. Okay, so we start off, is 1 less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is. Okay, so that becomes true. We print the number, so we print 1, then we add 1 to the number. So number now becomes 2. So is 2 less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is. So we print 2. Add 1 to 2, so now it's 3. Is 3 less than or equal to 10? Yep. Then I add 1. Is 4 less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is. Is 5 less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is. So we print it. 6, yep. 7, yep. 8, yep. 9, yep. And 10. Is 10 less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is. So we print out 10, and then number becomes 10 plus 1, which is 11. Is 11 less than or equal to 10? No, it's not. So the condition becomes false, and then this code doesn't run anymore, so we don't run it. We don't basically print out that number. But if we go inside the shell, that's the wrong shell. If we go inside the shell, if I can get the right one, here we are. If we print out number, can you see the way that it's 11? Number was changed and Python checked, is 11 less than or equal to 10? But it's not. So the code didn't run. And that's pretty much exactly how a while loop is working. But the amazing thing about this is, number one, we only have to write the code once. And we can extend this for as long as we want, okay? We don't have to copy and paste anything. We can just make it as long as we want. What if I wanted this code, instead of just counting to 10, I want to count 1,500, right? Now let's run that. Look at it go. It's going to repeat the code over and over and over and over again. And I don't have to copy and paste anything. I don't have to potentially make any mistakes. Once I've got it working for just one number, it's going to work for 1,500 and Python's not going to make any mistakes. Tell me how in any other way you could possibly do that without using a loop. How long would that take? And usually when you're dealing with computers, you do want to repeat operations thousands of times. You do want to do things over and over and over again. So look at just how powerful that is. Now there's another thing that I want to show you about how we can combine these loops with logic. So what if I only wanted it to print even numbers? Well, we can come in here and put an if condition, right? So we can say while number is less than 1,500, if the number is divisible by 2, that's how we do that. We find the remainder of the division by 2, and if that's equal to 0, then it's divisible by 2. Don't worry about it, just trust me. Then we're going to print the number, okay, and increase the number by 1. Actually, no, just increase the number by 1 anyway. So it's going to come in, check if it's divisible by 2, then it's going to print it, and even if it's not, it's just going to add 1 to the number. So watch this. Just by adding a bit of logic, we are now printing out. I'll just show you. We're now printing out in steps of 2. Right? We're printing out only the even numbers. And it's very simple. If I wanted to print out all the odd numbers, I just check when that's not equal to 0. And now we're going to print out all the odd numbers, 189, 191, 193, and so on and so on. So you can combine logic with loops and do thousands of computations in what, like 4 or 5 lines of code? I mean, just how ridiculously powerful is that? That's magic. Now, let me show you another example of this when you use lists, okay? Let's say we want to ask a user for a bunch of names up to a maximum of 3 names. Well, what we can do, let me just delete all this. What we can do is we can create an empty list up here, which I'm just going to call L, capital L. And what we can do is while the length of that list is less than 3, oh, it's a nice heart. While the length of list is less than 3, new name is going to be input. Please add a new name. Like that, okay? Now, whatever they input, let's say we strip it and we capitalize it as well because it's going to be a name. Okay, and then we want to append that to the list. L.append the new name. Okay, and after that, we're going to print, sorry, list is full, and print out the list. Okay, now when I run this, look what happens. Please add a new name. Alice, Bob, Carol. Sorry, list is full. Alice, Bob, and Carol. So we can even add things to a list automatically and repeat things over and over and over again. It's honestly, loops are just a game changer, right? See how neat this is. And even if we wanted 5 names, right, or we wanted 10 names, we don't have to repeatedly add this code. We don't have to keep having a new variable for each name, or we don't have to define a list of names. All I have to do, if I want 5 names, just change that number to 5. Now it's going to ask me, add a new name, and we're going to Alice, Bob, Carol, Dan, Emma. And now we've got 5, right? You see how powerful that is? I mean, that's just mental. We've managed to automate the task of programming itself. I mean, how crazy is that, right? So in summary, while loops will run a certain piece of code as long as a condition is true. And as soon as that condition becomes false, the code won't run. It won't go round the loop another time. That's a more accurate way of putting it. Nice and easy to understand, right? So to really hammer this point home, in the next lecture, we're going to create a simple project that will simulate a conversation with a 3-year-old child using a while loop. I promise you're going to have some fun in the next section, and you're probably never going to forget while loops as long as you live after making that program. So I'll see you in the next video.